everybody? Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, there's a PayPal link down there for anybody that wants to share some love. And we're going to get right into it with Trump signs a DEI executive order. So let's take a look at it. Trump signs DEI executive order. And you'll notice I am in tribute to Trump today. The Fuhrer. I am wearing my mustache, my short mustache again. So please pay tribute to Fuhrer Trump. More susceptibly, pay attention to what's going on. What we've got is a man going into office, or has gone into office, and is trying to clean up some of the things that have been causing chaos in the political venues for a number of years. One of which is the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I've been speaking about this for a while now. When we start putting people into an office because we don't have enough colored people there, or not, we don't have a certain percentage of women in there, or something like this, and now we've got the gays and bis and homos and transsexuals and all these delusional people filling places that need qualified people. And now we're going to get back to business. But let's understand that just because these executive orders are happening during Trump's thing doesn't mean that all of the success and fixing is going to happen during Trump's thing. This is merely a matter of what I'm seeing is getting rid of the problem that was instituted before that's caused various other problems. And so what we need to do now is the people that start filling those offices, like I've said before, need to be competent people that know what's going on. That's the only way you're going to fix things. And we've been, without DEI, we've been putting people into offices that are not competent of what they're supposed to be doing. So let's pay attention. And excuse my dog.
Kia Turner with a Fox 5 News alert this morning. President Trump continuing to make good on several campaign promises with a series of executive orders. The latest is an end to the Biden-era mandates for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs within the federal government. All federal DEI staff have been ordered to be placed on paid administrative leave by 5 o'clock tonight. And all government DEI-related web pages must be taken down. Trump's executive order also ends grants given to DEI federal contractors. Steve?
In his second full day in office, the president continuing his plans to exonerate hundreds of January 6th defendants. And this morning, we're learning that may extend to amnesty to 2 D.C. police officers convicted in a man's death. Melanie's outside the D.C. jail this morning with more information for us. Mel?
Hey, guys, from what we know, there's still about a dozen or so J6ers here that have yet to be released, but they're not coming out to a big fanfare this morning. What we understand is sometimes they're taken by van, then released around the corner. But here's the thing. President Trump's pardons are not sitting well with police. The Fraternal Order of Police among those speaking out. Several more people convicted walked out of the D.C. jail last night to a crowd of supporters.
It is the most amazing feeling. I can't describe it. When I took my first breath of fresh air it was as if I felt like I was a kid again.
It feels amazing to be free, you know, being incarcerated and being criminalized by so many, you know, media sites.
And that's absolutely true. What we have here is the media. Excuse me about that. I didn't realize my mic was muted. But what we have here is a media that is criminalizing things. And when it comes down to this stuff, what I was saying before was about Biden and his pardons with his family members and stuff, as well as various other people, and just blatant, almost blanket across the board pardons for a bunch of people in prison. Did any of them extend to the January 6th people? No. So now here we have Trump doing his pardons, and all of a sudden the police are up in arms. Fuck the police. Fuck the media. Fuck politics. This is none of our business in reality, if you really want to think about it. Us common folks that aren't in office and aren't an agent of that office, not really any of our business. But when it comes down to it, you have to understand it's the media that is criminalizing things. It's the police that are getting butthurt, and it's the politicians, Democratic or Republican, I don't care which one. But the January 6th thing was nothing but a bullshit game played upon the people as a masquerade for the political parties that are being played out. And DEI is what they're trying to cover up. They need people that will support them. And the only way to get them into those offices is through DEI. Otherwise, they don't qualify. So when it comes to fixing all this DEI stuff by removing the people that are in there because of their non-qualification, popularity, statistical bullshit, the real work is going to come at hand by filling those offices with people that are qualified. Because even if you fill those offices with people that aren't part of the DEI and seemingly qualified but aren't, they're still not going to solve the problem. And this is the problem we had before DEI. We were filling it with people that we thought would do the job because we thought they were qualified through some popularity contest. We have to stop it with the popularity contests and stick strictly to qualifications, folks. This is the problem Trump's going to have during his office. He can try to fix it the best he can, and I hope he does. But it's going to be an after effect long in the future where we're still filling those places, those offices and agencies with people that are qualified, because there are way too many of those offices and agencies so far filled with people that aren't qualified, even though they were hired as qualified. They're incompetent just doing my job.
Now, Greg Purdy and Jonathan Pollock there among those convicted of civil disorder and assaulting police officers during the riots at the U.S. Capitol. President Trump's executive order pardoned more than 1,600 people convicted or charged for their actions during the insurrection. Police unions across the country are criticizing the blanket pardons, saying it sends a dangerous...
Criticizing the blanket pardons. What do you mean the blanket pardons? That's what Biden did, blanket pardons. But they didn't have any problem with that. Right? Because those weren't the local police. Those were the international police forums. Really? I don't care. You want to whine and cry because you didn't get to do your job, or because you did your job and locked up people? Again, you aren't even qualified. Police officers aren't even qualified for their job as arresting people because they aren't qualified to know the law. How do you expect to have a population policed by a portion of the population that doesn't know the law? That's just fucking stupidity.
Message that the consequences for attacking law enforcement are not severe, potentially emboldening others to commit similar acts of violence. DC.
Oh, but it's okay for the police to attack the populace at large and not know the law and have some kind of supposed immunity saying, well, they were just doing their job. That's the problem. They're just doing their job. That's Hitler's willing executioners. They don't know anything above it. Using handcuffs and using military tactics to take people down. That is their job. Their job is not to know the law.
These police.
If it was, they wouldn't go to school for it. Because it'd take too long to get a job pushing people around and controlling them. That's not what they want. They want a nice, easy job that they can get easily without having qualifications. You see the problem with DEI? You see, DEI has been around for a long time, folks. DEI has been around in the policy for a long time. Let's get these guys in here and have them do the arrest because they don't qualify to do anything else. But by God, they need a job and they're good for it because they're stupid enough.
Union said in a statement.
And if you don't like what I say, prove me wrong, you stupid fuckers.
Our stance is clear. Anyone who assaults a law enforcement officer should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Fullest extent of the law, meaning that they don't prosecute people to the fullest extent of the law. For why? Because there's some kind of diversity, equity, and inclusion cupcaking going on for people's friends and relatives. Nepotism. Same thing as hiring people in nepotism. They're doing the same thing when it comes to consequences. Giving them favoritism. And then the media inciting this shit through pardons across the board. That's what Biden did. And now you want to use that kind of language against Trump? People are pathetic. And I wish you people in large would pay attention to what you're listening to in this shit.
Without exception, adding that the union is dismayed by the pardons to the J6 rioters. Now, the D.C.
Why would they be dismayed? Is it because it makes them look bad that they made bad arrests? Why would they be dismayed? And if they're dismayed, they shouldn't be, if they're dismayed because of bad arrests, they should be dismayed at the people. They should be dismayed at themselves for not being fucking qualified enough.
Police union went on to say that if President Trump was truly interested in correcting wrongful convictions, then he ought to pardon the 2 D.C. police officers who were convicted of murder for the death of motorcyclist Karan Hilton Brown back in 2020. President Trump yesterday.
So if you want to be particular, you can pardon the people that need to be pardoned. But the one guy that, or 2 police officers, obviously, and you can look into the story and see if that officer really deserves being pardoned. See, that's what this news media is doing, is trying to take pardons across the board for people that were arrested across the board and held without trial for a long time. And then those that were held and went to trial and convicted were convicted on false bullshit. And they talk about pardoning across the board for something like that, as opposed to singularly pointing out 2 officers that should be pardoned for a particular case where I guarantee if you look at it, I don't believe they should be pardoned. I believe, again, when you're going around enforcing laws that you don't know and you kill people over it and then expect to be pardoned because you just didn't know, then maybe you shouldn't take it upon a job like that you should have known. See, this is the problem. We still hire these people to go in and enforce the law and give them immunity because afterwards we find out they didn't know the law. You should already know that. These people go through 6 months of training for military tactical training for physical takedowns. That's about it. They don't learn about the law. They barely touch the Constitution.
Yesterday said that he intends to sign those papers. We'll have more on that coming up at 9.
Melanie, thank you. 8:09, the Trump administration is removing policies limiting the arrests of migrants at places like schools and churches. It comes as attorneys general from nearly 20 states, including Maryland and D.C., are suing to.
So along with the diversity, equity, inclusion during Biden's presidential trip, we also had the diversity, equity, inclusion working on the border. See, that's what they wanted. Now we got all these people in here that aren't qualified to be here. We got all kinds of people in offices and agencies that aren't qualified to be there. We got these people coming in that aren't qualified to be here, qualifying for programs that they shouldn't qualify because they never qualified to be here to begin with. This is a problem with that mammon policy. See, if you can't follow the word of truth in your heart and just get along and quit being so violent, such vile and violent creatures, that's the only reason you need those laws at a border. That's the only reason you need nations of separation and division. That's all cultism. If you really are of a spiritual nature and you believe your neighbor down south of the border is your neighbor, you invite him. You don't say you can't come. Now, granted, just like in any other house, there's a door, and most people aren't supposed to come in unless the door is open. Well, that's literally what Biden did. He opened the door, said, come on in. Problem is, the people he said come on into are the degenerates that the other countries and nations wanted to get rid of. The prisoners, a funnel of Chinese. Yeah, the Chinese are sending people over to the Panama Canal area and having them go up through a trail. Yeah, all kinds of things. That's another thing you should pay attention to when it comes to Trump is the Panama Canal, along with the kidnapped prisoners over there in Hamas and stuff. You know, these are all things that he's going to try to attempt to revert back to what they were before and institute good policy. And the problem is that everybody in this country, everybody in the world actually, thinks it's part of their business. Well, if it's business, then you should know that it's a business matter. What are the business matters to deal with? Same thing with crime. It's all contract. So what's the deal? Who's the brokers? And why are they pulling you into their brokerage for some criminal trespass that you may not be applicable to because you're not an officer or agent that it applies to? I urge people to really learn the concise English. Unlearn what they've taught you. Go back and start all over again. Learn the concise English that they instituted in the early 70s, that they now implement in all of their codes. Plain Writing Act.
To block him from ending birthright citizenship. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution says
birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship. See, that's the problem. That's the thing that we all have dealing with, and why we question about the birth certificate and the authentication and everything, because nobody knows how to make the memorandum, the memorial. See, that's the problem. At the beginning, there was a birthright registration. Do you have to register your birthright for a citizenship? So pay attention to what they're saying. Birthright citizenship. Your birthright citizenship is in heaven. As above, so below. So if you're supposed to act a certain way in heaven, as if though nothing belongs to you because it doesn't, you can't own property in heaven, folks. What are you doing making false claims here for? If you can't control and have authority over another man in heaven, what the fuck are you doing down here doing it for? Huh? Where the fuck does this shit come from? Who the fuck gave you authority to do so here while not giving you authority to do it in heaven? As above, so below. Fucking, it just blows my mind. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's little video on diversity, equity, inclusion, and what's going on. I hope President Trump can make some forward steps. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it was Biden. I would hope that they'd make some forward steps for this society. And I would also hope that the people that are watching it go on do the same thing. I would hope that you loosen your shackles. Come out of them. and learn that if you think it's your business, then you better start making it your business by learning what business is. Otherwise, keep your nose out of it, keep it clean, and you'll be just fine. In the meantime, you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That's on you. So may God bless you and have a good day. We'll see you next time.